Hello, everyone. This is the Galley La Podcast with your host, Geboss, and your other host, Akainu Fanboy.
Yo.
And today we're going to be discussing Jujutsu Kaisen Chapters 159 through 166. And if you could please like and subscribe if you like the content, and leave your thoughts about these chapters. We pick up from where we left off last time, with everyone kind of splitting off to do their own things, because they decided that they're going to go after the sorcerers who have 100 points to see if they can change the culling game rules, and they're going after Kashimo and Higuruma. And we start off with Higuruma, and we get to see a little bit of his character.
Mm-hmm.
So what'd you think of his character, just from his introductory chapter?
Love his character. Great character.
Yeah.
I think he has a cool, quirky, a lot of admirable traits. Kind of a quirky personality. Doesn't have the best of luck. Kind of a tragic character at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a great foil for Itadori and the grief he's dealing with from Shibuya.
Yeah. I really like him too, just from this initial chapter where he's first introduced, with him being a public defender and all. Because I don't know about you, but I could not make it as a lawyer. I would be I would be like Higuruma at the end of this chapter, just ready to kill people. Because
and Minecraft.
Yeah. Well, he didn't do it in Minecraft, but yeah, it kind of shows kind of how the justice system in Japan works. How just there's a lot of convictions and everything, because this actually came up recently. I don't know if you had heard about the whole Johnny Somali incident that happened over there, where there was this guy who was there was this live streamer, he was harassing a bunch of people, and he got arrested, and he got deported, but there was talk that he was going to spend a lot of time in jail because of the conviction rate, not being like close to 100%. And I'm glad I'm glad that they represented it in here. And I don't know if this is where people actually got the that notion or what, but it's interesting.
Yeah, and I thought I really enjoyed his character. It gave me a little bit of similarity, a connection to Nanami's introduction with, I guess not his introduction, but his backstory. How you see how they operate in the real world. They're trying to make a difference. They're trying to be good, but then like they keep on running in the walls and things like that. Nanami, it was more the spiritual world. He couldn't get away with it. While Higuruma, like, he just gets like pulled into the spiritual world and he deals with it with a more negatively way. But I both kind of see them. They're just kind of tired out, burned out from the world, and then they just kind of get forced into this dimension, if you will,
Yeah.
And they just handle it differently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel that Gege is is saying something, because I think a lot of the older male characters are kind of like this, with Nanami, Higuruma, Kusakabe, and we even saw like the comedian guy. You remember at the end of the previous chapter, kind of like. So.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I don't know if this is his commentary about like people who are older than 30 years old or what, but. Yeah.
Wait, Sakabe, he was the one with the sword, right? Who was in Shibuya? Yeah, okay, yeah. Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Yeah. No, for sure. Yeah. And that, it does seem that, with the exception of Gojo.
Yeah.
Actually, Geto would be another one too.
Yeah.
You're just so stuck in the grind, you just lose it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I thought that was kind of, speaking of Geto, in the next chapter,
yeah.
I thought that was weird.
Yeah, I mean, it does make sense, because he did say that everyone would get a chance to leave the colony, given the chance, all the regular people. And I don't know if you remember, like, these two characters were from... Like,
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, the very first episode.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, thank you for being friends with my son.
Yeah.
That's creepy.
Yeah. Especially because it's... Like, yeah, because Kenjaku is technically his mom and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, and because they were the first ones harassed by the Sukuna spirits and things like that too. So I find that to be fascinating for sure. So yeah, definitely a connection. It makes sense why he'd be cognizant of who they are too and everything. So yeah, that one was a pretty brief, short chapter.
Yeah.
And you know, like the next chapter, I was like, the helicopter head and the jet head and. It kind of just reminded me of like the cricket fight from Shibuya, just kind of like a fun little fight, but that's it. Nothing meaningful with it, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of reminded me about how there's the current day sorcerers and then the past incarnated sorcerers. And I assume that these are modern day sorcerers because they use more modern day stuff like helicopters and jet planes and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're focused on Hikari and Panda are going to Tokyo Colony 2, and Yuji and Fushiguro are going to are at Tokyo Colony 1, which is what we're following with this. But
and then
yeah.
Where's Yuta?
Yuta went to a different one. He went ahead of them.
Okay.
Because they're all trying to split up for the most for the widest range of stuff.
Okay, gotcha.
And so they wouldn't have to kill each other.
And he's solo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's that good.
Yeah, because he's him.
Right. Yeah, because he's him. Yeah.
Yeah.
But do you know who else is not solo? Megumi with Remy.
Yeah. Yeah, they yeah, I like that they kind of split up from the beginning. I think that's best for the characters.
It's like a One Piece arc.
Yeah. No, the One Piece characters need to get back together. They need more interplay between them. But
yes.
But anyway, but yeah, we see Megumi interact with this girl Remy, who she's just kind of I don't know what you would call her. She's just hiding behind strong people.
Yeah, she's trying to charm him, and it's just not working, which is frustrating her even more. You know. And like I said, I'm different from Itadori. If you're lying, like you know what will happen.
Yeah.
So
and he says like I have no qualms scoring 100 points by killing people. Yeah. Just do you think that this is setting up like a dark turn for his character, or do you think it's pretty consistent? Because his whole...
I don't know if it's more of a gag or what. I can't. It's kind of hard to tell. I mean, like his reaction later on when she betrays him. It's like, yeah, you're fucking gone. You know, that's the vibe I get from it.
Yeah.
Because but I think it's more self-defense, though. You know. Yeah,
but I mean, his whole thing with fighting for the points in the culling game is to save his sister. So I think he's just trying to do whatever he can with this. And yeah, and then we after Itadori defeats the helicopter guy, he runs into someone who knew him in the past, and both him and Remy are leading their individual people in a different direction. And Remy winds up leading Fushiguro into a trap, and Fushi with Reggie, and Itadori actually does get led to Higuruma. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that Yuji was the one to go after Higuruma rather than Fushiguro.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And yeah, no, it was just like I said, yeah, it was comical when he found out he was in a trap and everything like that. Like that face when he's like looking around me, it's just like horrific. You know, it's terrifying. You know, so that was pretty great. And then, but I guess like, do you just want to get into the fight? I guess with Itadori, or is there anything else you want
to? No, not really. The main focus of these chapters has to do with Higuruma and his fight with Itadori, or I guess you could call it a fight. But yeah, I really like this interaction with everything, because we see like Itadori trying to reason with him, like just asking, can we use your points to add the rule? And Higuruma doesn't want to have the culling game dispelled, because it has a set of rules that have to be followed, which is interesting that because just seeing him as a lawyer, he sees how the rules can be bent and everything, but I guess this world kind of makes sense with him, the culling game. So I thought that was an interesting way to take it.
Yeah, he's like judge, jury, and executioner, you know, and everything, and he has power. There's not as much corrupt BS, and he kind of wants to keep on going on, and but his fighting style I thought was kind of cool and unique and creative. I thought it was a cool one, and I think just like going back and forth where you get into the right ideas of justice and what's right and wrong, and I think that's kind of been an underlying theme of Jujutsu Kaisen as well, you know, where they have to make all these tough moral decisions and things like that, you know, and so I think this fight really helps to bring a lot of closure to the Shibuya incident as well. And I think it's like a terrific reminder how great of a character Itadori is when he says, like, you know, yeah, I did it.
Yeah.
You know? Because you could always be like, no, man, it was the elders helped me do this. It was all the bad guys. It was society, man. Society made me do. It's like, no, I messed up. I did something wrong and evil, you know? And I think there's something really powerful how he said that. One, you're just reminded about how such a good character Itadori is. But then also, it like helps. Higuruma is just like, okay, whoa, this is like so convicting to see how blunt he is and how good of a guy that he is. You know, like there's like an innocence about him, even though he did so much carnage. You know, so
yeah,
I think it was just like a beautiful couple of chapters to really flesh out both of their characters. It reminds me, and it's just another reminder, I think, why I like Itadori so much in the MC as well. You know.
Yeah, and I liked how the battle concluded with him switching off the executioner sword, to not kill Yuji, because, like, he knows what's in the file to make the case against him, and we didn't touch upon that. He breaks out right away with his domain expansion, which is really cool in concept. It reminds me, I know you're gonna hate this, but it reminds me of a Hunter x Hunter power, like specifically like the kind of like the APR one. Remember that one? Yeah. But yeah, I just think having like a courtroom proceeding kind of as an ability is cool, and it kind of makes sense why he's how he got that many points, because we can assume that he used this right away with all of his the people that were trying to kill him, and he just stripped them of their abilities, and then like we see that he's like really strong like right away, because I love how he uses his gavel as a weapon, like changing size and materializing
Mhm.
it and throwing it around and everything.
Mhm.
Um, and like the narrator themselves like specifically points out like that he has like absurd talent as a sorcerer, and
Yeah, he's grade 1, right?
yeah, and from what I read of it, it seems like his domain came first and then he worked backwards from
Mhm.
having to learn everything, which is pretty cool.
And he's only been practicing for a very short period of time.
Yeah, I think like 12 days or something.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I like his character a lot. He's a really likable character.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I really like also the design of his domain, because we get to see like he specifically stated like when he was talking about Justice being blind, but he wants to have his eyes open, and we see the I assume that this is like the judge type character, because it's the one that sentences everything.
Yeah.
And when it has its eyes sewn shut, except when it's issuing the death penalty, it opens back up. But yeah, Higuruma is just really cool as a character.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I think I read that Gege specifically went to a lawyer to ask them like all the fine details about everything.
Oh, that's cool.
And yeah, I mean, I don't know, because you said like, do you think that Itadori is like culpable for Sukuna's for all the deaths that he caused? Because like Higuruma was like, you had no control of your body at all, so
I think like to an extent you could say he could have been more diligent, about like putting himself in danger where he could be taken advantage of. I think in that sense he could be, not in the sense he's actively killing people, but in the sense like he either overestimated his own abilities or underestimated his foes, where he was so focusing on saving Gojo that he hurt everybody else in the process, so I kind of think like those are some critiques you could kind of level at him a bit, but I'd say like more on that point, yeah, I would say that's it, I just think kind of downplaying the gravity of the consequences, but now he's kind of learned that lesson, so I would say this is kind of one of my favorite mini side battles in an arc. I think out of all of them, this is my favorite side battle arc in Jujutsu Kaisen, I think.
Yeah, because it's more it's not even like there is combat, but it's more about the morality of the situation, and the interplay between the characters. Yeah.
No, it was really good. I liked it a lot, actually.
But yeah, on Itadori's, on the point that you said, yeah, I can see where you're coming from with him. Like he says in this chapter, like even though Sukuna did it, like it's his fault because he was too weak. So, I guess I can see where he's coming from. Like he would have to bear that guilt.
Yeah.
So I guess that's why he confessed to it, even though he's I think ultimately it's Sukuna's fault, but the majority fault. But yeah.
No, totally. And I think it's kind of similar with Gojo too. It's like I think he was too cavalier as well in Shibuya and got way too overconfident, and he kind of got played, So yeah. And they both did, and look what it did to everything, So I think like that's kind of where I would stayed with that, so it's good. Some moral complexity. There is like a right and wrong, but there's definitely a lot of ways you could look at it at the same time, so I thought it was, yeah, so really good here. I guess like what you could get across, there is like objective good and evil from hero standpoint and just the story standpoint, but there's definitely a lot of complexities too at the same time when it comes to evaluating what's good and what's evil at the same time. So I think that's just kind of the vibe I got from that, and so and that's one of the strengths of the story for sure. And then that last panel right there is the people he killed. I guess like that's just the people he killed in the courtroom, I assume.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah. That's that. But what was it? Oh yeah. About so do you think in the future that Higuruma is going to become an ally to?
I hope so.
To them, yeah. I mean,
I don't know, because like he gave up his points. I don't know what that means. Like what happens if you give up your points, but hopefully, I hope so. Yeah.
Well, I think with the points, you can always earn more points. But I think it's after. I think it was stipulated in the rules that if you haven't changed points in 19 days, then you're subject to curse technique removal. So, I guess so long. That's the whole plan for the transference of points, so that you can transfer points between one another without. So Yuji or Megumi's sister don't have to kill anyone.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Higuruma agrees to give his 100 points to add that rule. But yeah, Higuruma's like executioner sword is gonna be like really OP in the future, especially if it can literally kill anyone without exception.
Yeah. For sure, except Panda.
I mean, Panda has 3 pandas inside of him.
Yes. So, but yeah, I really enjoyed this section of chapters though, and I thought it was definitely like the high of this arc so far, so I really liked it a lot. Yeah.
And yeah, I did think it was interesting, like earlier on in the fight, Higuruma asks like, have you killed anyone who ticks you off? It feels better than I expected. And then at the very end of the fight, he said, have you killed anyone of your own will? And didn't it feel awful? So it kind of shows like I guess the people who ticked him off are the people who would be the sorcerers who came after him, and maybe even like the judges, but maybe deep down, like in the moment he felt good about killing them, but in retrospect he feels guilty about it.
Yeah. No, yeah, I think that's a good take for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all I really have to say about it. Really good chapters. And we're not done in Tokyo Colony, because we have to number 1, because we have to finish up with Megumi.
Yeah, too bad we have a break next week.
Yeah. See what's happening with him. But yeah, any closing thoughts?
No, just great chapter, great character development, plot progression, moral framework of the story progressing, good fights, just good stuff. Yeah, I like it all. So the arc's definitely picking up a lot more of the pace, which I'm enjoying. So I can't wait to read more.
Yeah, we needed to get through the exposition, and now we're in the heat of the action.
Yes.
Okay, so that's it. And once again, like and subscribe if you like the content, and let us know what you thought of the chapters, if you think Higuruma is good as a character, and and if you like the fight and everything. And we will be talking to you guys soon. See ya.
Peace.